So, why I hated Knock Knock. Now, this is what? I watched this movie about a month ago. So, a little bit of the details are kind of hazy, but for the most part, I remember everything. And I'm sorry I'm talking with my hands. I do that a lot. Anyway, so, I'm watching this movie. I'm not gonna lie, high as a bitch. And I mean fucking stoned. Did not even change my opinion of this shit movie. So, you begin this movie, Keannu Reeves, with a beard. Just gonna leave that one there and move on to the next problem. He has kids. So they introduce these two kids and his Hispanic wife from Barcelona, I think? I don't remember, it's not important. Anyway, so she's speaking Spanish back and forth, a little bit here, a little bit there. You're like, oh, it's a nice multicultural family. And then they leave for the weekend. You have no idea what's going on here because situationally they haven't given you anything to understand because it's stupid. Okay, so the movie progresses. It's like, I don't know, 2 in the morning. Keannu Reeves goes to smoke a little bit of ganja because he needs some information because he's apparently an architect or something. That's not important. But all of a sudden he hears a knock on the door. Knock, knock, you know, the reason the movie was called Knock Knock. Who fucking knew? So these two girls are standing out there in the rain. Set up, obviously. So they're like, do you know where blah blah is, or blah blah blah? And then it's just back and forth conversation, and then of course her phone is soaking wet or something, and she can't get it to work, so she can call a cab, and he's like, do you guys want to come inside, man? Because, you know, he hasn't really acted since Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Well, so he lets them in. He's like, make yourself comfortable. Here you guys go. Here's a couple of towels. They're like, you mind if we use your dryer? And he goes, oh yeah, here, let me set up an Uber for you. Because, you know, it's that generation. Oh, and I forgot to mention that there was a situation where the small child, one of his children, mentioned, you know, show us what you're doing on Instagram. I'm like, okay, that was weird plugging. Why was that added? That really had nothing to do with anything. So, he does the thing, he calls the Uber, then everything gets a little bit weird because they're all like, how you doing? Let me talk to you about my sexual experiences. And, like, they're supposed to be my generation. And I'm like, you know, we're open. Some of us. Most of us. Some of us, really. We ain't that open. I don't know anybody who's that open, who's just like, let me come into your house because I'm a guest, because you took me in from the wet, cold water outside in the middle of, I don't know, California, probably San Francisco, who knew? But, so, he lets them in, and he's doing the thing, and then he pulls out an iPad. Oh yeah, you know, Apple is just all over the damn thing, which is fine, you know, it's advertisement for a film. It's fun. So, it progresses, they're all like, let me be sexual with you, let me touch you inappropriately, and he's like, I can't do that, I'm a faithful husband. I can't do that, I'm a faithful... You know, classic acting from The Matrix and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Yay! Then it gets to, he's freaking out, and he's like every 12 seconds looking at his phone, going, okay, so they're going to be here in like 15 minutes. Okay. You know, he's being practical about the situation. He's calm. He's collected. He's a little bit awkward because, you know, he's Keannu Reeves and there's two 20-somethings in his house who are wearing practically nothing. Well, they seduce him, and as the Uber is getting there, he's kind of getting the booty in the closet. Big problem here. And this is going to be a trigger for somebody, I'm sure. They raped him. No hesitation about it. There's no gray area here. They seduced him, they entrapped him, and they fucking raped him. How is that good film? What purpose does that actually serve? Like, I know this is supposed to be a satire about social media in some way, shape, or form, but why the fuck would you ever put this into a film? Like, I don't like to see situations where they do this to a woman. I'm pissed off then. I'm pissed off now. It has nothing to do with gender, really. Honestly, if there's rape in general, it doesn't need to be in a film. It doesn't need to be, like, it needs to be something that people understand happens, and it needs to be something that people understand needs to stop. But you do not use it as a plot device. Ever. I'm pissed. So, of course, I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm still high as a kite, of course. So, like, the gears in the back of my mind are grinding together in rage as my face remains completely just non-moving, nonplussed. Nothing's going on. And I continue to watch this shit movie. Mostly because I was vegetating and the couch was really, really comfortable. Otherwise, I would have been like, I'm out, I'm done. So, next morning rolls in, because that's how films work. You just kind of abruptly ignore time altogether. And he looks for the girls. He's like, the girls are no longer let in. What's going on here? Because, you know, of course, Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure acting. I'm just going to refer to that as Keannu Reeves acting for you. So the next situation, he walks into the kitchen and they're making a fucking mess. I'm still pissed off about the previous scene, and I'm just like, oh god, no. Both of you, like, if this was my house, number one, I would stab you with a spoon for fucking up my kitchen. Especially my beautiful, I'm Keannu Reeves, multi-million-dollar kitchen. By the way, his wife is this weird artist, and they were fucking shit up there too. And I'm gonna kind of breeze over some stuff because I've probably been going on for about 10 minutes of bitching. But, so the next scene progresses. They say something to the effect of that they're under 18 and this falls under statutory rape. And number one, I go, yes and no. Yes, technically it's statutory rape because he had sex with underage women. Or men, depending on the situation, but of course men at this point. But, no. No, it is not. Because entrapment, seduction, rape. Next couple of scenes go on. He does his thing. He's trying to get them to leave. He eventually gets to a point where he picks up the phone and goes, I'd like to report a break-in. And they're like, we're ready to go. So he takes them, he drops them off somewhere. The show continues on. He's in his house doing his thing, you know, probably about to smoke a bowl or something. Because that's what Keannu Reeves does, because he can't actually act, he just does his own thing. All of a sudden, I don't remember what happens. I think he gets knocked out or hit in the head or kidnapped or something by the two women. Again. The same two. And they're like doing the thing and they're torturing him. They're physically fucking torturing him. They're drugging him. They're beating the living hell out of him. They're threatening to kill him. The whole bit. He's been tied up to a chair for like the next 30 or 40 minutes. But the bottom line is they keep coming across the major point of underage sexist pedophilia. And they keep threatening to tell his wife and his kids. So you're sitting here being tortured through this wretched, wretched movie. As the story progresses. And part of me is a little bit angry because I'm like, you know, Keannu, if you knew how to scream, this movie would be over. In fact, if you knew how to sternly say no, instead of being like, hey man, no man, we're not having sex, the movie would have been over. It would have just been over. But no, you can't act. act. And whoever wrote this fucking piece of crap with its cookie cutter characters was like, hey, you know who's a perfect person for this part? Keannu Reeves. He doesn't know how to scream. So, continue watching the movie. They're torturing him. At some point in time, they bury him in the backyard with just his head hanging out of the ground. This is closer towards the end of the film. And then they put... they also entrap him again, force him to have sex with one of the girls as she keeps calling him daddy. Which, you know, I'm a fan of the kink community. That's not kink, it's still rape. Twice. 2 times. 2 times in one movie! Did you use a plot device, or use rape as a plot device? Fuck you. So, whoever you wrote this, I don't know off the top of my head, and honestly, I don't care because I'm that pissed off. Fuck you. Just fuck you. Okay. So, yes, back to what I was saying. So they got him buried in there, and they're, you know, threatening to kill him. And ultimately, they just kind of laugh it off. They put a phone in front of him with a thing that they posted on the internet to his fucking Facebook. Then they walk away going, oh, by the way, I'm well over 21. So am I, yay! And they frolic off. While he is sitting in the ground, trying to nestle his little fucking sausagey stoner arm out of the ground to press delete. And he accidentally presses like, and then the movie's over. Number 1. Where's the satire? Oh, yeah, okay. I also missed the part where he actually starts screaming. He screams like, why? Why would you do this? Ah! You know, like you do. Because, yeah, he probably sounded exactly like that, I'm sure. But anyway, so he finally gets to the screaming bit, just way too fucking late. He loses his damn mind. But what I'm trying to question here is, where is this a satire? This is torture porn. You know, this is no different than forcing someone to sit down and watch all of the Saw movies one after another. Or let's go with a better example. Continuously watching the rape scene from the what the hell is that movie called? It's a Swedish film. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Just continuously watching that one scene over and over again. Number 1, I'm still not entirely sure why it needs to be in the film for A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. I mean, from a book perspective, it was not as bad. I don't know, I never read it in English, but that's beside the point. Why? What was your point? Did you want people like me to be like, this is just wrong? Because, like, anybody on the outside, I haven't even looked at the reviews on the internet, because, honestly, like, I don't want to know. I'm sure somebody out there is like, this is the greatest film ever, yeah! No. No. I've watched some shit movies in my day. This is probably one of the worst.